Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been making headlines and can sound a little complicated. Tariffs. You might have heard the term, but what exactly are they and how do they affect the US economy, from the prices we pay to the jobs available? That's what we're going to break down in simple terms today. No economics degree needed, I promise. So what exactly is a tariff? Think of it as a tax on goods imported from other countries. When a company in the US buys something from overseas, say a car part or a t-shirt, the government might charge them a tariff, essentially making that imported item more expensive. Now, the idea behind tariffs is often to protect businesses here in the US. By making imports more expensive, the hope is that American consumers and companies will be more likely to buy products made in the USA instead. This could, in theory, help our domestic industries grow and create more jobs here. But like most things in economics, the effects of tariffs are a bit more complex, with both potential upsides and significant downsides. Let's look at how tariffs impact different parts of the economy. One of the most direct effects of tariffs is on prices. Because tariffs are essentially added costs, businesses that import goods often have to pay more. Now, these businesses might pass those higher costs on to us, the consumers, in the form of increased prices for everything from electronics to groceries. Think about it. If a shoe company in the US imports leather that now has a tariff, the cost of making those shoes goes up. To maintain their profits, they might have to charge you more when you go to buy a new pair. And studies have shown that quite often American consumers and businesses end up paying the bulk, if not all, of these tariff costs. Some research even suggests that for past tariffs, the price increases were almost entirely borne by those in the US. One study on solar panels found that tariffs even led to a price increase greater than the tariff itself. As we mentioned, tariffs are intended to help US producers. By making foreign goods pricier, domestic companies might see an increase in demand for their products. This could lead to higher production, potentially more sales, and even increased profits, what economists call an increase in producer surplus. However, it's not always a straightforward win for everyone. Many US companies rely on imported components and materials to make their own products. If tariffs are placed on these imports, it increases their production costs, making them less competitive both domestically and when trying to export their finished goods. So, a tariff designed to protect one industry might actually hurt another. The impact on jobs is also debated. The argument for tariffs often includes the idea that they will bring manufacturing jobs back to the US. And in some specific sectors, you might see a temporary increase in employment. However, the overall picture seems to be more negative. If tariffs lead to higher costs for businesses and reduced overall economic activity, this can actually result in net job losses. For example, tariffs on steel and aluminum in the past were found to have potentially led to job losses in manufacturing, due to increased input prices and complexities in supply chains. When other countries retaliate with their own tariffs on US exports, this can also lead to job losses in export-oriented industries like agriculture. Studies examining past US tariffs have estimated significant net job losses for the American economy. When the prices of imported goods go up due to tariffs, this can contribute to inflation, which is the general increase in the price level of goods and services in an economy. If a wide range of imported products become more expensive, consumers will have to pay more for everyday items, stretching their budgets further. Some analyses have projected that widespread tariff proposals could significantly increase consumer prices. Overall, most economic analyses suggest that tariffs tend to harm a country's gross domestic product, GDP, and hinder economic growth. By increasing costs, reducing trade, and creating uncertainty, tariffs can lead to less investment, lower productivity, and slower economic expansion. Some studies have estimated that potential widespread tariffs could lead to a significant decrease in the long-run GDP of the United States. Another crucial aspect of tariffs is retaliation. When the US imposes tariffs on goods from another country, that country often responds by placing its own tariffs on US exports. This can lead to a trade war where both sides impose increasingly higher tariffs, ultimately hurting businesses and consumers in all involved countries. It can also damage international relations and make it harder to cooperate on global issues. We saw this play out in the US-China trade war, where retaliatory tariffs significantly impacted US agricultural exports. It's also important to note that tariffs are often considered regressive. This means they tend to disproportionately affect lower-income households. Because lower-income individuals spend a larger portion of their income on basic goods, any increase in the prices of these goods due to tariffs will hit them harder than wealthier individuals. So, while tariffs might seem like a simple way to protect domestic industries, the reality is that they have a wide range of economic effects, many of which are negative. They can lead to higher prices for consumers, increased costs for some businesses, potential job losses, inflation, slower economic growth, and harmful trade wars. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to impose tariffs involves weighing these different potential outcomes. It's a complex issue with passionate arguments on both sides, but hopefully this video has given you a clearer understanding of the economic forces at play. Thanks for watching! If you found this explanation helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more straightforward breakdowns of economic topics. See you next time!